My thoughts have never been clearer. I see what you're doing to me now. They lie, they steal, they fooled us. Deep down I probably knew that. I think I will be holding on to the one thing that I know is stronger. Love is blind and no one's perfect.
I can't believe I did that.
What happened?
I cannot believe I did that. So, when I come on the show, hi everyone, how are you doing? I'll tell you, you didn't catch it, but I did. So normally when I come on the show, there's the video clip. I have to switch it out for the new speaker. And it has the old speaker. I'm like, oh God, I can't believe I did that.
Oh, honey, I missed that. It's all right. They'll know it's me.
Hey everybody, how are you doing? And welcome back to this is our second show for 2024 on the Healing Factor. And you know what? I reached out this time. Normally I'm doing videos for a lot of people that I know. And, it's good because, they're all up and coming people. They're heavy hitters. But you know what? Spirit told me to reach out and step out of my comfort zone because, sometimes we do that. And I did that this time. I was on TikTok and I just happened to run across this beautiful spirit. And I can't remember what she was speaking about, but it was talking about healing. And all of a sudden, something said, reach out to her and get her on the podcast. Because I'm like, you know what? It's time. It's really time. Let's just do this. So you know what? With that being said, I'm going to introduce you to Queenie. And she is the founder and CEO of Awakened by Shishi. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Hi. I'm just glad you were obedient. Listen, I'm just happy that you were obedient because I'm here. Hey, girl. Hey.
Right? Hey, girl. Hey. So yes, she is. If you haven't seen her on TikTok, I would advise you to check her out. Awakened by Shishi, and it's right there on the screen. She has some really good nuggets to share. Some really deep information. I love what she has to say. It's about healing because healing is so important these days. I can't express how important it is. So with that being said, you know what I'm going to do? I am going to ask Shishi. I don't know why I like that. I just love that. I'm going to ask Queenie, tell us about yourself and tell us how you got started with this.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I would be talking about myself all day.
Go for it, girl.
Because I do that because I love me some me at this point in my life.
And you should.
It's extremely important. But my journey started maybe a few years ago when I didn't recognize myself. It was hard to see me in a lot of the things that I was doing. And some of the stuff I just be like, now who you know how some people like to blame stuff on the devil when that stuff be happening like, hey, the devil made me do it. I wish I could blame some of the things that I have done on the devil, but it was all me. And it's the things that we do when we all messed up and broken and hurting and still want to blame other people. And one day I just got up and I was like, you are about to be somebody's mom. And there's no way that your child is going to have to grow up and be healing from your mess. So get your SHIT.
Yeah.
Get your ass up and get your shit together. Because now there's a new life that you need to build. And once I got into it, I realized I'm not just doing this for her anymore. I'm doing it for me too, because I felt free. Oh my God, when you start really facing all of the stuff that you just kind of swept up under a rug and you pull that thing back, you feel free. It's lighter. I just felt lighter after it all started. And once I started peeling back my own layers,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I want to help other women because I know there are women who are too afraid to really face themselves. And that's what it really comes down to.
Yes.
That healing is about confronting the people that have like assaulted you or hurt you or rejected you or
Mm-hmm.
beat you or whatever. But really, your healing is you against you. It's always me versus me. Always
That's
me
good.
versus me. I get in the ring and I say it all the time. I'm going pound for pound in the ring with me, nobody else, and that's it. I can't. Once you get a certain age, you can't blame nobody else. You got to be accountable for
Mm-hmm.
you healing
Mm-hmm.
and you growing up and you handling your damn business. Period.
Flat
That's it.
out.
That's all.
Wow. Wow. So how did you get ooh. Let's talk about Awaken. What is Awaken about?
Awaken by Shishi is my stationery and home decor. See my pretty pillows.
I know I like girl. I will be ordering from you.
I started. So when I started healing, I realized that I needed to change my circle. And when I started changing my circle, I needed to change my surroundings. So I started the home decor because I wanted to change what's in my space. If you come to my home, this is everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
There are affirmations, scriptures, words of positivity is everywhere. You will not walk through my house and not feel some form of positive energy. And because that's how I feed myself. And that's
Mm-hmm.
how I like to feed the people that come into my house.
Mm-hmm.
And I just really and I started there, and then I like to write. I like to journal, and you go out and buy these notebooks, and it's just lined paper.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I just started adding affirmations to it. I started adding beautiful pictures of beautiful Black women because we need to see ourselves represented. Just like, I mean, no offense, but Happy Planner. You got all these other planners and
Mm-hmm.
stuff out here, and it's not resonating with me. It's not speaking to
Right.
me.
Right.
So I chose to start creating planners that speak to my own healing. So to let me know that I'm beautiful, I'm worthy, I deserve to be here at every turn. And
Mm-hmm.
that's how I started creating my stationery line. I made planners. I don't know if y'all can see this.
Look at that.
And I make these at home, and they're filled with, and I make sure that they are filled with affirmations and just beautiful women goals, everything. And I love it. Like it's just
Oh, those are gorgeous.
they all serve a different purpose. I have one for self development. I have one that helps you to rebuild your relationship with God in case you lost your faith, because I've been there. I lost my faith at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, I went through chemo and radiation, and I couldn't understand why I was there. Like, God, I just got close to you. What you doing? That's where I was, and my faith got a little shaky.
Mm-hmm.
And then I created my journal just to remind me that this the God you serve. He ain't making no mistake. He doing what he needs to do to get you to where you need to be. And I know that there are women that get to those places. So I literally started creating for me and realized there are so many other women that it could help.
That is beautiful.
Thank you.
I love this, girl. Wait a minute. Holla, 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 holla.
Yes.
Okay, you said a few couple things, honey. So your journey. So, gosh, I don't even know which question to ask next. I've never been stumped, girl. This is beautiful because you have a whole line to help women, and this is where your healing came from.
Yes.
This was, this goes to show you, audience, that you don't necessarily have to go to a clinician, psychologist, or something. There are other ways of healing. You're into the holistic healing as well, aren't you,
I
Queenie?
am. I am.
Mm-hmm.
I actually am certified in Reiki healing.
Okay.
And I love what that has done for me. Even when I started shadow work was hard for me
Okay.
because for such a long time, this is hard to say. I don't
It's
know why
okay.
it's
Take
hard
your
to say.
time. Take your
But
time.
for a long time, I had lied to myself for a very long time about who I was, how people would see me, just
Mm-hmm.
putting on a facade of who
Mm-hmm.
I wanted people to see. So when I started doing shadow work, um, and I just kind of created it along the way. I just started writing letters to myself. And I would pray and I would be like, oh God, please help me to be honest in this letter to me. Like, dear Walteria. Because at some point I wanted to be able to give this to my daughter. I want to give it to my daughter. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I just started writing it, and I realized, like, oh my God, like, girl, you really need to get it together. Like, people are gonna love you or they gonna hate you at the end of the day. And the people that love you, that's your village. Don't force. You can't force people to love you. You can't buy people into loving you. Because
Mm-hmm.
back then, I used to always have money. I spread my money around, thinking that if I spreaded my money around, it'll draw people to me.
Mm-hmm.
And it did. The wrong kind of people.
Yeah.
So I when I started doing shadow work and I really started facing me, whoo child. Listen, that was no, that's I don't play with shadow work at all. And I tell people, once you get into it, you have to be ready to go against yourself. It was the hardest thing for me because I had to turn around and forgive me. I had to
Mm-hmm.
forgive other people, but I had to forgive me for some of the stuff that I allowed people to do because I didn't feel worthy of something better. Yeah, so I had to turn around and be like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for mistreating you. And
Mm-hmm.
now I'm at a place where I'm done apologizing. Now I just want to live and be free and be whole and allow people to see what being free and whole and happy really looks like. And I
Mm-hmm.
thank God for that. Like, I thank God that I really have to give it to God first, honestly,
Definitely.
because I can sit here and be like, well, I did this. It's the gift that he gave me to
Mm-hmm.
even be able to be good with words, to be able to be good with a vision.
And that's a mighty vision.
But for the vision itself, I have to thank God for that because without him, I'm not sure where I would be. I can sit here and be like, I'm not supposed to be here, but I am. I
Mm-hmm.
know that when people say that, I'm always like, nope, that's not how it is. If
Mm-hmm.
you're here, you are destined to be here. So I had to tell myself that too, like this is where you are supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I move accordingly. Like I don't have a choice. I'm the asset. I have to tell myself that all the time. Every single morning I'm in the mirror. I am the asset. I am nobody's liability. I
Mm-hmm.
deserve every good thing that's coming my way because I give. Now I give out of the goodness of my heart.
Mm-hmm.
So it's me.
So when you did your work, I call it the dark night of the soul, because that's basically what it is, you know.
Oh God, I like that.
That's another term for it.
It's heavy.
But can you explain to some of the viewers what is that when you're doing that type of a work
Um,
so they'll understand it?
Shadow work is you facing the darkest parts of who you are and learning to live with the darkest parts of who you are, but also realizing that those parts of you, even though they exist, they don't have to be at work, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I can remember just not really caring about people's feelings, how I handle people, how I spoke to people, whether people were in my life or not in my life. If
Mm-hmm.
I didn't feel like it, like I wanted to be able to control whether I kept a person or threw them away. So, and that was a part of my shadow work, because that's a very hard, that's a dangerous part of a person.
True.
And I've hurt a lot of people along the way because I wanted that much control over my life. So shadow work forced me to face all of the things that I have done. Not only the things that people have done to me, but the things that I had done. It forced me to be accountable for those things. And sometimes we're not ready. That's why sometimes it's so hard for us to look in the mirror sometimes, because we're not really sure of who we're looking at. We get lost. And there was a time that I got lost and I needed to start digging. And I do therapy as well, along with it, because there are other things that just kind of compounded on top of what I've been through. I've experienced feelings of rejection. I was raped in high school by friends. And that changes a certain trust in people, because these are people I know. Sometimes I used to tell myself, and I know this is going to sound crazy, but I wish it would happen with people I didn't know. I wish it was somebody that I didn't know that would have done it than people that I had been around like every day or whatever. And I can remember trying to commit suicide back in high school. And here I am. And I can remember the things that I saw when I was in the military. And here I am. I can remember being in a very abusive marriage. And here I am. So I know that it is my destiny. It's just my divine, and it's my divine order to just be able to help somebody else. And that's what I wanted to do. It really is. It's the gift that God gave me. My sister always tells me that it's the gift that I have to be able to talk and influence people. And I started thinking about that, because I used to be able to influence people to do all the wrong stuff. I could get people to do whatever I wanted them to do.
See?
And then one day it was like, well, why don't you just use it for something else? Why don't you use it for something better? If you use that persuasion for something else. And I realized, like, man, I was a dangerous girl. Like,
just think about how many times there are people out here who are thieves and robbers and, drug dealers and whatever else. There are some really smart people. And if they just took that and used it for positive.
Yes, ma'am.
You know what I mean? So you hit a point. You hit a point. If we could just get people to understand, what if you turned that around and actually helped to change the world?
Exactly.
Man.
And that's all I want to do. Like, honestly, when I first started, I didn't care if I helped one woman or 1 million women. I just wanted to do it. Like, I am pro-woman. I'm pro-Black. I love all women. But I really do give a lot of my energy to Black women, because, of course, we have that stereotype of being strong and, being independent. And sometimes I tell my mama sometimes, like, oh, girl, you made us too independent. Because there's a such thing. It exists. You can be too independent, because I got to a point where I think I need nobody. Nobody.
And that's a dark place to be.
Yes, not God, not friends, not family, nobody. That I was going to figure it out on my own. And guess what? God was like, oh, okay, let me show you. And he took me through there.
Wow.
I've been in a place where I had lost everything because I thought I was the one that did it.
Wow.
And I just had to realize, and that's how I ended up making, like I said, a lot of my products come from my experiences. It comes from the things that I created for me to get through my dark times. And somewhere it was just like, all right, let somebody else have it. I was giving them away at one point, and then it just became a part of my business, became a part of my lifestyle.
And it's beautiful. I love what you do. I just love it. I couldn't wait to go on your website. I looked, I was like, oh, okay. So when I did your picture and I did the flyer, I was like, oh no, I gotta capture this whole thing, not just her. I need the whole thing. So
thank you.
The way he captured it was like, oh, that's perfect. I need to make sure. and it felt so right. The whole picture, literally. I'm like,
Thank you.
yeah, I need that. Yep.
Thank you. Thank
So
you. Thank you.
I definitely want to be sure that everyone knows everything. They know how to get in contact with you, and everything. So if you wanted to share something with the group, with the people today, what would you want to let any woman in here know that's watching?
Oh my God. Henny, I got a list. Number one,
It's okay. Go for it, girl. It's your show.
God first.
Mm-hmm.
God over everything.
Mm-hmm.
I started living by do you God, I'm on whatever you want. And I got into a space where I truly stand on that. If it's good, it's God. If it's bad, it's God. And if it's bad and it's God, that means He's taking me to a better place. Just God first. Trust God. Trust the process. Trust the plan. Trust that you were created for whatever moment that you are in. Like I wholeheartedly believe in that. I also know that your healing is important. There's no better version of you if you are still in a broken space.
Exactly.
You cannot operate fully if you are still in a broken space. You need to heal. You need to address the things that have you stuck. And so many things can have you stuck. I can remember, and I think I saw my mama pop up and say something. I love this. I'm telling you, I love this whole
Who's
little
your mom?
platform. Norma. That's it. Yep, I saw it. Yep. But I can remember my mom and I was like oil and water.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of it was because I blamed her for a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So much stuff. I was like kind of angry. And after a while, I was like, man, ain't you tired of being mad at her? Like, ain't you tired? Is this not? It's like the one on the help when she was like, ain't you tired, Miss whatever the lady name was?
Mm-hmm.
Like you just get tired
Mm-hmm.
of blaming others and holding other people responsible for what you have going on in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, even if it played a part, once you come of age and your life becomes your responsibility, that blame has to go. Because
Exactly.
guess what? My mama been living her best life. And she didn't dismiss how I felt, but it didn't stop her life.
Right.
And for me, for a while, it was a hindrance.
Mm-hmm.
It was keeping me from all the things that somewhere deep in me, I knew that God had for me.
Mm-hmm.
And it kept me separate from that because I was holding on to a lot of anger with my mama, a lot of anger with my daddy, a lot of anger to the boys at school that raped me, a lot of anger and PTSD from the military, like even broken relationships. And it was things that I kept just kind of held on to within myself. And it was just building up and becoming this black space. So I want to tell women that it's easier to talk and be honest about whatever it is that you're feeling. Whether the person receives it or not, that's not your problem.
Mm-hmm.
What becomes your problem is when you hold it in and it keeps building and building and building. Or if, just like my mama, for a while, she didn't even know that I was mad at her. She had no idea.
I said that too.
Like it was like, well, what is our problem? Like, little girl, what's your problem with me? Like, I know you don't like me, but what's your problem? And I'm so grateful for the relationship that I have with that lady now. And I know it's God. I know that it is God. Even at the worst times, I still can look at my mom and be like, man, I'm proud of this lady. Like, I am glad that that's my mama. Because I can see a lot of mamas out here and, woo, child, I don't want them. I'm glad I got the mama I have.
Right.
And I'm blessed that my mom is still here. I can still call her when I need advice. I can still call her when I need help. And I can remember a time I didn't want her advice. I didn't want her help. Because I didn't feel like she was worthy of giving it. Like, hey, she can't tell me nothing. And I used to feel like that. So just and be transparent in who you are. I would definitely tell women that, like, if you have a problem with somebody, be grown. Talk to them. Have a conversation with them and ask them for forgiveness. Forgive them. Because forgiveness is for you. So forgive them as well. Even like in my marriage right now, my wife is actually doing shadow work.
Okay.
And she is realizing and healing through a lot of things for herself. And we recently just did a 21-day fast together because we just weren't on the same page. And I can see God working in that. Like we were talking about divorce and separation. We were talking about trying to figure out living situations at one point. And now here we are trying to figure out moving forward. Spending time together. It's like rebuilding.
That's healthy.
And getting to know her all over again, and her getting to know this new me. And not holding our past against each other. And it's just like if I've been given grace a lot, not just from God, but from my family. I've done things to hurt people. I've been given grace and forgiven. Why can't I do the same?
Exactly.
And if I can keep forgiving my wife, I damn sure can forgive my mama who gave birth to me. If I can keep forgiving my wife, I can forgive my sister who I grew up with. Like we forgive people on the street before we forgive the people that are really a part of our village. How crazy is that?
That is crazy.
And I want people to know that. Like, at one time, I didn't feel like family was family over everything. And at this point, I didn't feel like that. It was like family is beyond just who you were birthed into. And I still feel like that. But I want who I was birthed into. I want them. I want them people. Because I see the strength in those women. I wouldn't be as strong as I am without those women. And we've been through a lot. Siblings, mama, from the mama. I'm the youngest. I'm the baby.
Okay.
So we've been through a lot as a group. And the strength that I see in my sisters, sometimes I'm like, man, I wish I would have got some of that from my mom. I had to learn it. They got it from her. Because I live with my dad and my sisters live with my mom. But they were able to get that from her. I had to learn it the hard way because I was hard-headed. So
I get it because I was the same way.
Some little kids, you have to just, mama just let her bump her own head. She had just knots everywhere because I'm trying to learn on my own. Don't want to listen to nobody. And now I got a 3-year-old. She the same way. And I have to pray the blood of Jesus over her. I don't want her to be like that. I want her to know that she has a village and she can get help. You know, I don't want her to feel like she can't, because I can remember feeling like I had nobody to go to. And some days I don't know if it was something that I created because I was broken or if that really was the case. But either way, I don't feel like that now. I can call my sister and have a conversation with her and not feel like she gonna judge me or it's on 8 o'clock news at 7 o'clock. And it's the trust that we're building with each other. And I mean, I want women to know that there's a sisterhood that you can build, and all women are not messy. All women are not petty. Some women really do want to see you win.
They do.
That whole dialogue about women being jealous of each other and envious of each other, we're going to get rid of that.
We need to.
Oh, yes. But there are more women who want to see you win than more women who are preying on your downfall. Exactly. And I'm realizing that. I can count on one hand how many friends I've had in my lifetime. Friends. And I want something different. I want a circle. I want the circle. I want a circle of women that I can call and be like, look, y'all get in y'all closets. It's prayer time. So I need y'all on y'all knees for a sister today. Because, I'm about to let the devil use me today. I need them.
Mm-hmm. I need you to grab the rope because I'm about to jump off the cliff.
Exactly. Like, and I'm building that. So it's important that we know that we can have that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so glad that I realized that I can have that in other women. There are women that want to see me win.
Right.
And they are pushing me to win. Mm-hmm. And they ain't mad because I'm passing them.
That's it. And that's what it's supposed to be about.
Yes. Just like you reaching out, that's a woman that you're a woman that wants to see me win.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm grateful for that. That's why I say I thank God that you were obedient to what when your spirit was like, reach out, I'm glad. And when you reached out, I'm glad my spirit went like it usually is. And I ignored it because people be all in my little inboxes for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
They always got like some kind of motive. But for whatever reason, I didn't feel like that reading your message. Mm-hmm. And I responded before I even looked at your page. I'm like, yes, I'm there. Yes.
That's why when I went in there and sent you the message, because I understand how it is. People come in your inbox and start doing crazy stuff. It's like, wait, so she doesn't think I'm crazy. Let me just give her the rundown so she'd know for real. I'm like, let me just put it all out there. I'm real. I ain't got time for the guy. I'm for real about this. Yes.
Yes. So I'm very appreciative of women like you and creating a space for women like me. And the old me wouldn't have been. The old me would have been like, that's what you're supposed to do. Like, you obligated to help me. And now I understand the gratitude of it all, the appreciation of it all. Mm-hmm. So thank you.
You are so welcome. And I'm just doing what someone else did for me. So many other women that, help pull me into, a group or a women's group or something. So, this is something that's been on my heart for eons because of what my grandmothers on both sides and my mother went through, their abuses and their traumas and their pains and their hurts and their fights and their all of it, mm-hmm. and understanding the generational traumas that carry on from unhealed wounds from the parents and their parents. And then when it's not healed, and we try to, because we were talking about this in my women's meeting today, how we're so busy trying to survive and fight for the next day's, life, and making sure the bills are paid, making sure food's on the table, making sure the kids are taken care of, that we don't have time to mourn what we just went through or process it or even cry it out, get the emotions under control. So, to be able to do that is huge, and you were talking about forgiveness of everyone, but there's another part of that, we need to not just forgive everyone else, but we need to forgive ourselves for giving those situations power over us.
That's right.
It's huge. This is a huge thing. So I'm glad I reached out, and I'm going to be reaching out a lot more, honey, because this thing is beyond me.
Yeah, and we try. I started thinking about my mom and my sisters, and then myself, and I used to always be like, man, I don't want to be nothing like. Mm-hmm. I want to be nothing like them. I ain't finna let this happen to me. This ain't gonna be me. This ain't gonna be me. And then we try so hard for it not to be us. Mm-hmm. And then when it's us, we trying to figure out, man, how did I get here? Because my family, my mom on down to me, we've all experienced domestic violence to oh my God. And it seems like as it trickles down, it gets worse and worse. And I can remember to myself feeling like I would never allow it. Mm-hmm. And then I remember just being in a marriage, and I done had a gun to my head, been thrown down the steps. I had my face broke on the side and hid away from my family so they wouldn't know, mm-hmm. like just disappeared, and so they wouldn't be able to see what was happening. Mm-hmm. And then being angry about a lot of it, like, how did I allow these things to happen? And then I realized also, because we still moving in broken spaces, still not realizing that you deserve better. And I didn't. I didn't realize that I could do better. I deserve better. I deserve like real love, real honest love.
Yes.
And and we have to we gonna have to fix ourselves in order to break those generational curses and that trauma that keeps going from us to our children and to their children and passing it. We gonna have to heal at some point so that our children, like I said, don't have to heal from us.
Exactly.
I want my daughter in therapy because of me.
And a lot of people don't realize that. They don't even realize that it starts in the womb. You know, if you are hurt and you're walking around here, then all of a sudden, next thing you know, and it, God forbid it be both parents that have going through trauma, because you still have that seed from the father. So that child is implanted from the mother and the father that has been unhealed. And now that child is growing up. We don't know why the child is throwing temper tantrums and screaming all the time. And we want them to be quiet. And there was one person that I heard speaking one time. He was like, we always telling the child to hush because we don't want to hear it. But they're screaming out something that we should have been screaming out. They're getting out of them what we didn't get out.
I like that.
And we think that it's, you know, we really think that they're just acting up and we want to spank them and yell at them and put them on punishment and send them to the room to go to bed and all this. And we're like, where is this coming? We never stop to say, wait a minute, what's going on? Because they feel everything that goes on with us. They feel it all. I don't care how much, a parent, a mother and father are trying not to argue, but if they're angry and they don't say anything, even if they don't say anything, that energy is still there.
Oh, yes, my child feels it all.
Yes.
If me and my wife is arguing in a nice way, she knows it's an argument. She knows that the tension is coming from somewhere, because she'll come right in the middle and be like, stop it. And that's when we were in a space where it was like, okay, we got to either go our separate ways or figure this thing out, because I didn't want to raise my child in that. I don't want her to be feeling any bad energy. And I know you can't not argue in front of the child, because I know they say that it helps them learn like resolution, ways to resolve issues and things like that. But I also want them to, I don't want her to have to see it all the time. So it was just like, we got to figure out what's going on with us. You need to figure out what's going on with you. I need to figure out what's going on with me. Because some arguments, you can't get around them. Some arguments it's a normal argument, but some stuff it don't make sense to be arguing about it. We got to argue about this. We don't need to be together, you know. So and I'm grateful for my wife's journey as she is going through her shadow work. She's learning a lot about herself. I wish that every single person would really just do shadow work for themselves, at least once. Because again, like you versus you, there's no battle like it. There is no battle like it. I remember there were days that I was in my closet in tears, door closed, wishing, and it was just that intense for me. Praying like, God, I need you to take it all. You can have it all. I don't care what you have to do to align me with you. Do it. This is too much. Too much stuff that you start remembering, and then even the stuff you start remembering that it's your fault. Oh, child, I don't know. I didn't think I was going to make it through that process. And again, I thank God that it's His will that we don't look like what we've been through.
Ooh, honey.
And to be in His will, I mean, I let Him drive every day. I really am at this point in my life. I let Him drive every day. I wake up, all right, God, I'm on whatever you on today. What we doing?
Right.
And that's literally how I wake up. And I do my affirmations and I pray, and then I start my day. And even my wife and I have gotten to where we pray together. And we weren't doing that.
That's awesome.
And that's a big deal. It's a big
I
deal.
love it.
For me. I just want women to know that it is time to heal, because in your healing is your power.
And not only that, you got to realize as well, and I'm glad you talk about you and your relationship with your wife and what you guys have been through and where you guys have come from, because one thing we don't realize as a people is that everyone in our life that comes into our life is a mirror of us. We don't realize that they're in your life because somewhere in your life or something in you is crying out saying, I need healing. So that person that comes in your life is either going to be a blessing or a lesson. And sometimes that lesson is going to be that one that you want to kick in the ass. You know, literally, it's a mirror. You called this, I'm only in here to irritate you because you need to see something within yourself that you ain't fixed. So guess what? I'm going to keep pissing you off until you get it. So you can stay pissed off of me all you want. But guess what? Until you realize you need to do this instead of this, then you're not going to heal until you do that. You got to turn it in. Why? What is it about this person that really pisses me off? What is it that I hate about this person? Why is it affecting me? It's not about them. It was about you the whole time.
And it has been. Even, oh my goodness, it's so crazy that you say that, because that is the realization that I had for a while with my wife drinking. Mm-hmm. Mama, don't get mad at me. I love you. My mom drinks. Mm-hmm. And at one point, she would drink a lot. And it's one of the reasons that I don't drink as much. And oh my God, I loathe drunk people. Ooh. I hate the way they act. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. Like, it really is like the worst thing for me to see people drunk. Mm-hmm. All right. So this is my issue. Honey, I done married a woman that drank like the fish in the sea. And I remember I used to be like, Lord, I done married my mama. Now, how did this, how did this happen? Who this woman? Like, I used to feel like that. And then I knew that in order to deal with either of them, mm-hmm, I had to be able to accept and change the way that I looked at and maybe even tolerated them both.
Okay.
And that's how I got to the space where I was like, well, if you can forgive your wife for getting drunk and acting like she ain't got no sense, why are we not holding our mama to the same standard? Exactly. Why are you not able to forgive your mama when she get drunk and act like she ain't got no sense? Like, how is it? What's the difference? Mm-hmm. It's your wife. You just met her. You've been knowing your mama your whole life. Mm-hmm. Like, how is it that you will forgive your wife 10 times 10 times 10, and when your mama do it, you sick of it? You like, don't buy out, forget it, nothing. Mm-hmm. And it really became like a whole whooping. It started to whoop me consistently. It started to whoop me until I got to a space where when my wife would get drunk, I just let her be, go about my business. Mm-hmm. And now she done toned down her drinking. And now, guess what? My mama, she done toned down her drinking. It's like somewhere in the back, God's like, well, all you had to do was shut up and mind your business. Just, I got it. Mm-hmm. If you want to you want to be in my business. Mm-hmm. And that's how I feel. I look at everything that way. If I can forgive a stranger for hurting me, mm-hmm, I can forgive the people that I know love me. Mm-hmm. We're gonna make mistakes with each other. Exactly. You're not perfect. I'm not perfect. We flawed in some of the worst ways. Mm-hmm. Some of the worst ways. Mm-hmm. I literally just told my sister the other day, I'm gonna have to learn to be like you, because I'm very blunt about the things I say, where it comes off as rude, mm-hmm, or it doesn't seem like I'm thinking or wanting the best out of a situation. Mm-hmm. Whereas we had a situation, somebody was just like, they were going through something, and my sister was like, Well, I pray everything goes well. And here come me and my big mouth, like, but girl, if you do it this way, that is not how it's not gonna work that way. Like, you must not really want to get this done because they're not gonna accept that.
Mhm.
Instead of me just being like, well, I hope it all goes well. I didn't learn that's not my trait. It's my flaw that I really do. I don't mean harm. I just really, it's like the obvious is obvious.
Mhm.
And when my sister did that, I was just like, I really got to learn how to do that because I don't want to always feel like I'm beating somebody that's
Right.
already on the ground.
Right.
And that's a part of my healing too, because even though the truth is the truth,
Mhm.
there are ways to express it without it feeling like a whooping.
Mhm.
And
Amen.
I'm so used to it feeling like a whooping till I got whooped.
That'll do it, won't it? Oh my goodness. This is awesome. I enjoyed this.
Every time. It'll do it every time.
Every time. Like,
And
oh.
that's how I've learned.
Mhm.
Like it goes all the way back to a child. Like I literally learning on my own and bumping my own head. And after a while though, I'm almost 46. Like I'm tired of bumping my own head to where
Mhm.
now I listen. I want to hear other people out. Like I listen to my sister when she's talking and when she's praying and when she's advising because I can remember days I be listening to her and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sick of hearing this shit. Child, if she come at me with one more scripture, I might throw the whole Bible at her.
Lord.
And but that was just the whole angry part of me. But
Mhm.
the more I grew and the more we would talk and the more I was praying and reading the Bible on my own, I
Mhm.
realized like them words of wisdom. You look past her.
Mhm.
It's just like looking at the preachers. Look past the preacher. I don't care nothing about you. You just give
Mhm.
me the food. I'ma
Mhm.
eat. I ain't worried about who cooking it. So
Right.
and that's how it is with me about everything now.
Mhm.
I really just want to learn and grow and be happy and
Mhm.
whole.
Awesome. I love it.
And I want that for everybody. Like, oh my God, I want it for everybody. Like this is such a great space for me. I
Won't
want
that be the day,
yes.
honey? Okay. So, quick question: do you do counseling sessions or coaching sessions?
Not so I talk to people. I love talking to people. When people reach out to me and want to talk, I am there.
Mm-hmm.
I have not taken my Reiki certification into that yet. I actually just started a life coach certification class.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And
Yeah.
I'm truly excited about that. But I have not really stepped into like fully into that realm.
Mm-hmm.
I literally just this is me right here.
I love
This
it.
is how I interact with most women that I meet. And if it's not through me, it's through my planners. Like you literally get a dose of life in my planners, in my journals. Any way that I can help, I don't care what it is, that's what I want to do. So I am really wanting to do life coaching. I'm
Mm-hmm.
just not sure how to kind of step into that. But
Okay.
my end goal really is to be a public speaker.
Well, I will say that, honey, after listening to you today, you're already a life coach.
Thank you.
You're already a life coach. So where can anyone, if they want to get your products, if they want to just, connect with you, where can they find you?
Everything is awakened by Shishi. My Facebook is awakened by Shishi. My website is awakenedbyshishi.com. My TikTok, I have a TikTok shop and it's awakened by Shishi. And soon I'll have Etsy as well.
Okay.
But everything is awakened by Shishi. You can find me at awakened by Shishi. My email is on my website. Like if you just need somebody to talk to, and I'll be honest, if I can't help you, My mama can. If my mama can, my sister can. And honestly, this is how I like to move with people. I'm always calling my mama, can I get this lady your phone number? Because I think you'll be able to talk to her. Or my sister, this girl was talking to me, and I'm not sure how I can help her in like fully spiritually. Because I know the word, but I want to just be spewing off scriptures all day. So I'm a firm believer that I still believe in it takes a village. And it doesn't just take a village for the children. True. It takes a village for us grown folk.
Part.
Yes, it takes a village for us grown folk. So as I'm 45, I'll be 46 in May, I'm still calling my 50-year-old sister.
It's okay.
I'm still calling my mama. I'm still reaching out to my other sisters. Sometimes I talk to my nieces and they're younger. You know, this is still the village that we need to build. I'm talking to my wife,
the younger generation.
I'm talking to her brothers, because this the generation that's gonna be taking care of me when I'm in a wheelchair.
Flat out.
I don't need nobody throwing me off the train.
Okay.
Throwing me down the stairs.
And they're the next level. So I mean, they're the next level of, I'm gonna say, bold, because when we think about the baby boomers, they had a certain way of being and everything was like, be quiet because we're trying to save the family, want to make sure the family unit stays together, not realizing by being quiet is actually causing more trauma than is needed. Then we had the Generation X, my group of people, and it's like your group of people too. You're X, right?
I have no idea.
I'm confused. I know for a fact I am, but that generation is where we saw it, but we didn't say it. We still respected our elders to the point where we just were like, okay, well, when I get out from up under their house, then I'm gonna be this way. I'm not gonna disrespect the household because I might get clocked upside the head. Who knows what's gonna happen? So
then I must be in that generation.
So then you got the millennials, they gonna say it. They gonna say whatever. I got a millennial. My son is 32 now. And it's like, oh Lord Jesus. They say it. They speak their minds, which is where we really want our youth to be. We want them to be strong enough to say no. We grew up in a household where you eat what was on the table. Okay, but what if they didn't like it? It's okay. They don't have to like it. It's okay, but that's all you gonna eat. You ain't gonna eat it all. Back in the day, families couldn't afford to be able to just, okay, well, you can have this and you can have that. And still, the boomers still feel like, well, you know what? How you gonna tell them? How they gonna just come in your house and how it goes?
And you know what's crazy is my sister, my oldest sister, that's how she raises her children, to freely speak. And I remember she had a conversation with us one day, and she was talking about how she doesn't force her kids, kind of like she don't force her kids to do certain things. So like if I'm at home and I'm in the middle of my homework when I was a child, if I'm in the middle of my homework, I remember my dad would be like, come bring me the remote. And the remote could be right
there.
He doesn't pick it up, but I got to get up, stop what I'm doing, and come bring the remote. And I remember my sister saying that if she notices that her children are doing something like productive or something like that, she doesn't ask them to do things like what the older people used to just make kids do all the time. Go get me a bill. Go get me a drink. Go do this. Go do that. Go grab me some tissue. Go outside to the car and see if you see my keys. It don't matter what you got going on. Stop what you're doing and focus on me. Not even realizing that as we get older, that's how we forgot about taking care of ourselves.
Exactly.
Because we were taught, forget what you got going on, focus on this over here. And we forgot to take care of ourselves. So that's why a lot of even self-care is hard for some people to fathom. It's hard for us. And like I said, I focus a lot on Black women. It's hard for us to take care of ourselves because we always focused on everybody else. And we forget about us. And that's the other thing that I like to focus on. Like, it's okay to be about you. But it's the thing, we're taught these things though.
Yes.
Subconsciously, it is given to us.
It becomes a program.
Exactly. And my daughter is 3, and we've never done like baby talk with her. We hold full on discussions with her. I'm not sure if that was the right thing to do now because she is very
Verbal.
outspoken, very verbal about everything. She say whatever is on her mind. So now it's like we have to come back and counteract that and kind of give her a filter, help her figure out her filter, which I know ain't gonna happen with a 3-year-old. I'm having like 6 or 10, which means I still got 3-4 more years to deal with this mouth. But it's good that we're changing the way that we are raising our children as well. My child's generation Alpha, they are probably going to be the boldest right now because they really are super smart. They're her intelligence level, and even other generational Alpha babies that I've seen, their intelligence level is
off the charts.
yes, like you really have been here before. Like in another life, was you my grandma? Like I have to question that sometimes when it comes to my daughter. So I also want to make her. I saw this meme, and it said that I hope that my child's boldness has her building companies instead of leading a gang in prison.
That is so awesome. Yes.
And that is what I want for my child. I would rather she take all of that personality, all of her boldness, all of that mouth, and she changed the world for the better, as opposed to being out here fighting and advocating for violence and all of that stuff. So I love that we're changing the way that we're raising our children and allowing them to be more outspoken, so they're not afraid to say if somebody has touched them inappropriately or if someone has spoken to them inappropriately and things like that. There won't be a fear of that. So then you don't have to play that, sweep it under the rug, and maybe you looking at it wrong, or maybe it didn't happen that way.
Right.
So I oh my goodness, like I'm grateful for the generation of children that we have.
Yes.
Right now, I can honestly say that.
I am too. I agree with that.
Yes.
Well, ma'am, I enjoyed this hour.
Yes.
This has been very, very powerful.
Thank you.
I love the conversations in the group from everyone that came in. We got Jessica, we got Norma, we got, let me think. I'm not sure if I'm going to say it right. Is it Waltisha?
Yep.
I mean, we got a lot of different people came on, and this was a blessing. This was truly
Thank you guys for coming.
Thank you for the support. I know this means a lot to her. This helps so much. And if you know of anyone else that would love to come on the Healing Factor, I do support women, Black businesses, and women. And I'm one of those. I'm about women globally. I'm reaching out for all of us, because at the end of the day, and I told the ladies today in our women's empowerment meeting, I said, I believe. And there was a woman that told me when I used to go to this one church, she said, when women come together, we shake the atmosphere. So with that being said, I want to encourage you to continue to do what you do in awakening, on your awakening journey, and also in helping others to awaken as well.
Yes, ma'am.
I love the name, and it is just like so awesome. It's amazing how I hear people say certain things, and I'm like listening, thinking about the name I have for my businesses or whatever, and I'm like, wow, that's just like links right up, So it's really beautiful. I love you guys. Thank you so much for being on here.
Thank you for having me. This has been amazing. Like, it really has. You are amazing. I want to thank you for just having the platform for people like us. And I'm gonna have to suggest my sister. I'm gonna tell her. I'm gonna give you her information.
Definitely.
But yes, I really have enjoyed this. I really have. Thank you so much.
No problem. And if anyone wants to come on the show, if anyone's watching this and you have a business and you want to come on, if you want to just talk about your healing, if you want to talk about your healing journey, where you've been, where you're at now, And what you're gonna do, you can reach me at the top email, because I'm working on my website. So rebirthdimension@gmail.com. That's where you can reach me at right now until I put my website back up. But I enjoyed this. I will definitely be bringing you on the show again, honey.
Yes, Annie.
And with that being said, we're gonna sign out. Let me put the song back on so we can sign out. And you hold on just a moment, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, there it is.
My thoughts have never been clearer. I see what you're doing to me.